Do you know software developers who got promoted and felt powerless and very unhappy with their role? Well, I knew a lot, and I think I was one of them because the first thing you lose as a developer when you do that is the idea of the software development. And I don't mean that you are not developing software anymore. The issue is the how. There was an intention when we became a tech person, a programmer, a software dev, right? We actually love that. We love to program, we love to work with code, we love to develop step by step things and shape them to what later becomes your software, your app product, something like that. And suddenly, as a tech lead, things change. You are not jumping around in an IDE anymore. You're not going through all the little debug sessions and this nitty gritty stuff. Suddenly, you are the person making sure that all the devs can do their nice job, and you are now the person who is actually supposed to, yeah, unblock all the people. Yet, you don't seem to have the power to do that. And that is a major issue out there in the field. What many freshly developed tech leads do very naturally is to actually continue doing that by trying to be the best in town instead of unblocking others and helping everyone to take ownership and actually get things done right. You try to outperform others because you were promoted into that role because you were the best. This is what they told you. This is what you thought it is about. But it's not. Or actually, it should not be the case. You know, a team is function actually as a team when everyone is working together, not against each other. So, one of the core aspects of a good team lead is to actually shield and protect the team while bridging at the same time the team to the business. So that is one of the core aspects, the shielding and bridging stuff. And you only can do this if you actually focus on the team and not on your work. The leadership idea is actually based on four pillars, which is credibility, being a role model, having a vision and a mission, and be able to challenge and be challenged by others. And this is something where you need to put some time into in order to get that done right, in order to understand that. Because you are, in fact, a credible role model with a mission and a vision who's challenging and be challenged by others, not only inside the team, but outside the team as well. You don't really push the team forward because you always try to help everyone. And instead of giving them or invoking ownership from everyone in the team, you are always jumping in and you will always be the hero. So that is a little bit like in the Phoenix Project, the character Brent. If you know that, Brent is a very good book. I recommend that one for every software engineer, every tech leader. It's a very fun book to read, or actually a good audiobook as well. And the idea is that there is always this one engineer which is called in for everything. The problem is that this engineer is somehow a bottleneck. It is the person, it's a gatekeeper person. So no one is actually doing something without the permission of that person. And that is what I see very often. I saw that even CTOs who are now CTOs, actually an absolute strategic position. It's not only just a team lead, it's a strategic role. And people still waiting for the approval to make a pull request and get along with that ticket to production because the CTO was once a senior IC and everyone was already then looking up to that person. In the end, you, as a software engineer, especially senior software engineer who's thinking of getting promoted, or there's a rumor that you might become the next one being promoted, you should think about that in two ways. The first aspect is, do I want to get into this role? Is that role for me? Is that something I really want to do? Giving up my IDE work, giving up my work as an actually coder, programmer, software engineer in general. And the second thing is, am I actually right now able and capable of taking the lead of people? Because that is nothing you just learn overnight. If you know that you are going straight for that, the best time to prepare would be several months before that, and the second best is right now. And in my opinion, you should get right now into learning about how to lead people. And finally, your baseline, your emotional baseline, will become the baseline of the team. So if you're a calm person, if you're a person who is supporting others, who is asking more than actually making statements, then people will start to ask more than make statements. This is how you reduce the alphas. This is how you make the silent people become louder in what they do, right? So you don't need to have this typical introverts, extroverts thing. This is actually not what happens if you do leadership right. You have a lot of influence, you as a leader, which means that you need to be present for the people, which means that you need to be there. You need to be existing while the team is working. Be present so if anyone needs help, that you are there, and give them the feeling that you protect them, that this is a space where they are allowed to practice, if they are allowed to say even something against the current backlog and say, we need to change something, it doesn't make sense to work that way, and then listen up what they have to say and even consider to bring it up to the business, right? Because you are the bridge, as we said, between those kind of things. And if they see that they have a say even in that, and you will execute because you feel responsible to bring good feedback to others and the feedback of that back to the team, you start to bridge the people. You start to build up credibility like never before inside that team and outside of the team, because people see you as the actual facilitator who makes it possible that the team can actually function as a team. One last thing as a takeaway: if you were promoted and you feel powerless, it is not a sign that you have failed. It is a sign that you are now in a situation where you need to start to challenge yourself. You remember, one of the pillars were challenge. That means you challenge yourself every day. That is basically practice. That is self discipline. You need to practice self discipline. You need to start to learn to communicate in a way that you build up credibility with what you do while supporting others, as we discussed it. By doing that, you will build enough credibility towards your team and towards external stakeholders that you can actually start to make a change. If that was helpful for you, I would be happy if you would like and subscribe that video and my channel for the opportunity to actually see more content about tech leadership and stoicism and the combination of that one. And I wish you a great day. See you next time. Goodbye, everyone.